Woo! PS5 running a 4K dashboard. Well, Microsoft apparently has an answer for that. Let's get into it. What is happening, guys? Dealer back again with yet another video talking about PlayStation 5 and their 4K dashboard. Well, apparently that's a big deal now, and we're going to talk about dashboard resolutions for the first time ever in the history of gaming. This is going to be a topic, and we're going to cover it because apparently it's a big deal now, and I like turtles. Let's go ahead and get into the topic. So basically, here's the breakdown. Sony come out with their UI demonstration video. I like a lot of what I'm seeing here. They did confirm that it is going to be a native 4K with HDR support. Pretty cool stuff, actually. It reminds me a lot of the Xbox One X dashboard when it was announced to be running at a native 4K, only for Microsoft to roll that back and revert it back down to an upscaled 1080p because developers would have rather had the RAM that was taken up by that native 4K dashboard and the OS, as opposed to actually having a native 4K dashboard. So keep in mind that while Sony are saying their dashboard will be native 4K, it's going to be interesting because you got to remember that that does take resources away from developers, according to developers. After all, that was the reason Microsoft did downgrade the resolution of the dashboard to 1080p instead of a native 4K, because developers were complaining that they wanted that gigabyte of RAM back for their game development. That way they could offer developers 9 gigabytes on 2017's Xbox One X console instead of the 8 gigabytes originally planned. So recently, as I've mentioned before, Sony came out and confirmed a native 4K dash with some really cool features, picture-in-picture, a lot of cool stuff here. Though I did have a buddy come out and point out to me that they did fast forward through this Destruction All-Stars load screen for some reason, this load time here. Not sure why. I mean, I don't expect lightning load times across the board on every single title, you know, especially in unreleased software. But apparently they did fast forward through some of this. Not that I care. It was just something that some people have been pointing out. Figured I would say it. And ever since Sony confirmed a native 4K UI for the system, some people have been coming out and saying, man, this is a big deal. And I think that, you know, even though I stated publicly that resolutions were so overrated and it's one of the dumbest things in gaming, now I'm going to act like the UI being 4K is a big deal, and it's not acceptable that the Xbox platform doesn't have that. Well, Microsoft already basically responded to this, preemptively even, apparently in some NDAs, according to Jeff Grubb. And I was made aware of this thanks to GameOnDaily.com. Check out the link down below. But we click on that there link, and basically it takes us to TwistedVoxel.com, where it takes us to a story about Xbox Series X's UI and how it is 1080p, though it will be updated before launch, according to, let's get into it. They do say Xbox Series X's UI is limited to 1080p resolution for now, but according to Microsoft, this is not the final resolution. I can't believe you're making a video about a Xbox UI resolution. I can't believe I've had to resort to this. It's pretty, anyway. They say it might actually be updated and upgraded before launch. The article does say recently Digital Foundry's John Linneman expressed his disappointment over the 1080p limit for the Xbox Series X's UI / the dashboard. And again, I'm surprised John would even complain about this, seeing as he was saying the whole resolution argument was really, really the dumbest thing in then all of the whole gaming space not too long ago. Just surprised to see this from him. But again, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and apparently the 4K dash and the PS5 is really kind of made people realize that maybe that's what they wanted. I don't know. Furthermore, the article says The Verge's senior editor Tom Warren does confirm that 1080p is the current resolution for the Xbox Series X. But according to The Verge's Jeff Grubb, Microsoft has already clarified this information to influencers, and in fact, the UI resolution and dashboard performance was already specifically mentioned in the embargo that they all received and signed, along with the Xbox Series X. In this NDA, according to Jeff Grubb, which I don't know if he's actually breaking the NDA by even mentioning all of this stuff, but they were essentially asked not to dwell on the UI, the resolution of such, and the details of this user interface. They are all not final and will be updated before the actual console launch. Now, the article does go on to say something that I've already stated in this video, which is good to see. One of the reasons the UI has been limited to 1080p is to save on the resources that might otherwise be put to better use for developers. Yes, this is absolutely true. The UI could take additional RAM space, which could be better suited for games, that could be put to better use for game developers. And again, while the article does say that's speculation, that actually is not speculation. They did the same thing with the Xbox One X. So it seems like Microsoft were already aware that Sony were going to push a native 4K dashboard, or else why would they really put this in their embargoes? Why would they lock this information down under NDA if they didn't know this stuff would be a hot topic? I think they already knew. I think they were very aware that Sony were going to push a native 4K dash, and I think they are going to put game developers first here. They may not even offer a 4K dashboard on the Series X because they want that additional gigabyte of data for games. At least, I would imagine so. And honestly, as a fan, I would rather game developers have that additional gigabyte of RAM for games. I'm sure it's very nice looking at the PS5 UI, nice, crisp information on screen, HDR, and more there. It's a good looking UI, especially compared to the modern day one, but when it comes down to it, we're playing games on this thing. I'm staring at games more than anything, and I would rather game developers have more data for games. I would just, that's me as a fan, me as a consumer. But honestly, I say that knowing that no matter what I say here, it's going to be seen as me damage controlling for Xbox. I really don't care. I'm just giving my honest opinion. I would rather Sony do the same thing. As somebody who's trying to get a hold of a PS5 day one, I would rather see Sony put that towards gaming. And as a matter of fact, they may end up doing that anyway. They may see that, hey, developers are asking for that gigabyte. They need that extra gig of RAM. The PS5 is already slower when it comes to overall memory bandwidth. Maybe developers want that gig of RAM for games. And I wouldn't blame them a bit. I mean, think about it. You've got a 8-year lifespan on this thing. Some people like to act like it's going to be less than that. No, with how capable these consoles are, with how balanced they are, there's no way you don't have at least 7 to 8 years of life in these systems. Why begin by bottlenecking or gimping the RAM output of this thing with an extra gig consumed for an OS that no developer is really going to choose over putting that into the development of their titles? I don't see the sense of it. Microsoft, Sony, don't bother with it. Honestly, I say that as somebody who really already knows that it's inevitable that you're going to need all the resources you can get out of this thing, and I think that's what developers are going to ask for anyway. You might as well just leave it at 1080p and just give us that extra gig for games. Give developers what they want, and give game-playing motherfuckers like me what they're going to notice on screen, and of course, hey, do what you're going to do. I ain't got no control over it. I'm just giving my opinion. Let me know your opinion down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Maybe show a buddy or two. And of course, be sure and go out there and complain about the resolutions of your dashboards, because that really does define a next generation experience. No, honestly guys, big frame rates on big open world games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that's going to be something for me that defines my next generation experience, not a UI. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and of course, again, let me know your thoughts down below. Honestly, check the links down below for all the sources, and thanks to everyone who watched this video. I'm Dealer. I'll see you in the next one.